All right, well, for me, I remember being in high school, and I remember wanting to play football. And there was this chance that I couldn't play football, so I didn't know what to do. And so I decided I was going to bowl, and I bowled for a long time. And then I decided, you know what, I need to probably get better. And what I mean by better was better physically. I had no idea that I was even sick. They told me all my life that I was going to have this problem, but I didn't feel like I was even sick. So it was hard to say, well, yeah, you can't do that. It was really hard to say. I don't know what you felt like as a parent when you said, well, you shouldn't play football.
Well, the issue was we were afraid of your kidney being hurt, so that you had to have something more serious done right away instead of being able to live your life and do the other things that you needed to do.
Yeah. At Primary Children's, Dr. Snow asked me a question, and I still remember it to this day. He says, if you could get a shot that would cure your kidney disease, would you take it? And I said, well, yeah! And he wasn't expecting that answer, but he said, okay, that shot is a kidney transplant. And so when he said that, he said, we're going to start the process. And I know my mom did.
Well, we didn't even realize that he could have a kidney transplant for the issue that he was dealing with. And so when we learned that he could have a transplant, it was like, this is fantastic. That there's an option for him to get better.
Yeah, I went and found out, and my mom got tested, and that ended up being, she ended up only having one kidney, so we knew then that both of us could live on one kidney. And then my dad was tested, and tell me about the testing.
What they essentially make sure that you're perfectly healthy. I remember the doctor saying after they went through all these tests, they check your arteries and all kinds of things, and the next thing you know, he says, all right, we've proven that you're perfectly healthy, now we're going to operate.
Since leading into the operation, well, I knew that my dad was going to go under first. And so I asked, I want to make sure that my dad is okay before I go in. And that was the hardest thing for me. In fact, while we were sitting in the room next to each other, ready to go in, I felt somebody keep telling me, your dad's going to be okay, your dad's going to be okay. But I wanted to make sure. So right before I went under, I heard, your dad's okay, we're going to put you to sleep now.
And of course, I'm concerned about him. They gave me an epidural, but the epidural didn't work, so I had this slam of pain when they woke me up. And so they ended up putting me on morphine. The two of us ended up in the same hospital room, which I didn't expect. There we were together, and here I'm on this morphine pump, and I had this weird dream. I was in, of all places, I was in a hospital ward in Logan.
Oh my gosh.
And all of a sudden, there was a fire in the hospital ward that I was in, and there were all these beds. And for some reason, I felt like I had to save everyone else. So I started climbing out of my bed, and of course, Rick all of a sudden watches this, and here I am actually throwing off all of my tubes in my bed, and I'm trying to climb out.
And it was the funniest sight because all I heard was, I gotta get to Logan! I gotta get to Logan! And he grabs the rail and everything goes off, and I'm like pushing the nurse button as fast as I can so that he can get the nurse. The nurse comes in and he goes, calm down. And they kind of had to get him to understand where he was.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm in this hospital ward in Logan instead of being with my son. Anyway.
Well, after all this, we did these laps around the ward. We decided that we were going to race each other around the laps. And I'm telling you, I look better in the gown than you did.
No, well, the problem is that you were much bigger, and you had this giant gap in the back.
Oh.
And you're just looking for a little extra air conditioning. I understand, but...
Yeah. Well, I like the breeze. It feels good between my legs and things like that. Uh-huh. So, yeah. So I did look better in it, though. I'm going to have to say.
Well, all right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the transplant games. What was your first experience like? What did you feel like?
Well, I remember you saying you went to the games in Madison and in Pittsburgh and Australia, and you kept, every time you went to the game, you said, Dad, you've got to go to this. Dad, you've got to go to this. We happened to be living in the Dominican Republic at that time on an assignment with the church, and so it wasn't very easy for us to come to the States and participate. So we decided, okay, we're going to go to Sweden for the World Games. So they were the first games we went to, and Rick was absolutely right. It's an incredible experience because, well, first of all, it's a celebration of life. There's nothing quite like it. Everybody who participates has had their life extended for through the transplant. And then the other thing is everyone has a story to tell about their transplantation. And the stories are absolutely incredible. And all you have to do is say, tell me about your transplant, and you have an instant friend.
Yep. You show up and you've got 1,000 friends. It's amazing. I haven't missed one since 2008. We're planning on going to Newcastle, so this is my 10th game, going into my 11th next year. Had kidney for 20 years now, so it's awesome.